Constans
was the son of a very successful emperor, Constantine the Great.
Gratian
Was the son of a very successful emperor, Valentinian the Great.
Constans
Was around 16 years old when his father died.
Gratian
Was 18 years old when his father died. At the start of the reign of
Constans
the control over the Western Empire was split between him and his older brother Constantine II. But after a brief civil war,
Constans
became the sole Augustus of the West. At the start of the reign of
Gratian
the control over the Western Empire was split between him and his younger brother Valentinian II. But after negotiations,
Gratian
became a senior Augustus of the West. The eastern part of the empire was ruled by
Constans
Constance's brother, Constantius. The eastern part of the empire was ruled by
Gratian
Gratian's uncle, Valens. Shortly after becoming the emperor,
Constans
successfully campaigned along the Danube and scored a decisive victory against the invading Sarmatians. Shortly after becoming the emperor,
Gratian
successfully campaigned along the Danube, scoring decisive victories against the invading Alemanni and Alans. Later in his reign,
Constans
actively defended the Rhine frontier against the Franks. Later in his reign,
Gratian
actively defended the Rhine frontier against the Franks. In religious matters,
Constans
was a staunch champion of Nicene orthodoxy, in opposition to his eastern colleague Constantius, who supported Arianism. In religious matters,
Gratian
was a staunch champion of Nicene orthodoxy, in opposition to his eastern colleague Valens, who supported Arianism. Despite his early military successes,
Constans
his relations with the army deteriorated later in his reign. The soldiers came to resent him because of the favoritism that he showed to his elite archery corps, which became his bodyguard. Despite his early military successes,
Gratian
his relations with the army deteriorated later in his reign. The soldiers came to resent him because of the favoritism that he showed to the contingent of Alan warriors, which became his bodyguard. Magnentius, the commander of the Rhine legions, took advantage of
Constans
slow standing with the army and proclaimed himself emperor in 350. Magnus Maximus, the commander of British legions, took advantage of
Gratian
slow standing with the army and proclaimed himself emperor in 383. As the legions of Gaul deserted
Constans
he tried to flee to Hispania to regroup, but was caught by the usurper's men in the fortress of Helena and executed. As the legions of Gaul deserted
Gratian
he tried to flee to Italia to regroup, but was caught by the usurper's men in the city of Lugdunum and executed.
Constans
Died childless at the age of 27.
Gratian
Died childless at the age of 24.